These shadows, man. Hello everyone, I hope you're having a fabulous, wonderful day. This is just the lighting today because even though it's 1 o'clock and it's clearly light outside, there is no lighting, which is what? So today I'm gonna do the reader problems tag, and I've seen this going around a little bit lately, but also it's such an old tag and it seems like a really fun one. Oh, those shadows though, YouTube life. So there are 11 questions about the problems we have as readers and the ones we create for ourselves. The first question is, you have 20,000 books on your TBR. How in the world do you decide what to read next? I have not prepared answers for these, so this is interesting. If something is recommended to me recently, I'll probably pick it up. If I am in the mood to read it, I'll probably pick it up. 20,000, that's like a lot of books. That's more books than I even think I want to read that's out there. So I feel like I could just like right off the bat like throw half of it, like give half of them away, to be honest. I think I'd probably just like reach my hand out, touch some books, and just pick one out, because 20,000, man, that's a lot. Sometimes I feel like that's how many are on my TBR. Second question is, you're halfway through a book and you're just not loving it. Do you quit or are you committed? So for me, the ending is super important, so I never quit a book. I very rarely DNF a book, and I'd never DNF it if I'm halfway through, because then I've already made it halfway through, and it has to be have something that made me continue reading so far, so that I might as well finish it, because sometimes the ending is like really amazing. And actually my favorite books have like game-changing endings. Like endings are almost one of the most important parts of a book, in my opinion. Like it's so important. So I don't know, I feel like I don't quit, not if I'm halfway. Ever. The end of the year is coming and you're so close but so far away on your Goodreads reading challenge. Do you try to catch up, and how? So I just finished my reading challenge. Actually, I read 101 books of my goal and 100, but I haven't calculated how many novels I read yet, because I do think that I've read a lot of comics and graphic novels, and also I've gotten into manga, and I think if I take away all those books, it wouldn't have been 100. But if I wouldn't reach my Goodreads goal, I like reaching my Goodreads goal, so to be honest, I probably wouldn't push myself to read more. I just lower the goal. And then I will still feel accomplished. You know, it's like a win-win situation, because I can do that. I would probably try to read a little bit more comics and graphic novels, because there are a lot that I really want to get to, and maybe this pushing me to reach the goal could make me read more of those. So for me, it isn't like a stress factor, but it's like a motivational factor, maybe. But I can't relate. What? The covers of a series you love do not match. How do you cope? I enter a deep depression and then no, it does bother me. Sometimes it bothers me the most when it's not like on purpose, because if I just decide to pick up like another edition of the book, or if I get secondhand, like I don't really give a shit, you know? But if I order a book and I think it's gonna match and then it doesn't match, then it's like, publishers, what are you doing? So I have this problem with, I'm gonna talk about this book now because I just read it, the Witchlands series or whatever it's called, and I don't know, it's the exact same cover design, but somehow the books are like marginally different from each other. So when you look at it on the shelf, like one is a little bit like this much smaller and glossy, the next one is a little bit bigger but still glossy, but they've like switched around on the title and the author name. That really bothers me. I think I have one of those where they have on one of them, oh, I know which one it is. It's on A Dark Duet and Our Savage Song. I think Victoria Schwab says on the top on one of them and on the bottom on the other. Ooh, this bothers me, because it's like, if you just looked at it, you would have known you could have fixed it, but it's just a lack of effort, you know? And this one is matte, and it's also even a little bit bigger than the previous one in the series, so like, and the font is different. Like, what? Why? okay? Okay, so obviously I cope by renting to you guys. There, you got your answer. This next question is kind of strange. It says, everyone and their mother loves a book you really don't like. I guess it's like a funny thing. Because obviously I don't get it, so it must be humor. And then, who do you bond with over shared feelings? Like, who will I rant to? Like, I guess my mom is like the first person I go to over whatever I'm feeling about a book. Like, I just talk about my books forever, and I think my mom kind of hates me after a while, like after 30 minutes. Yeah, like my mom or you guys, I'll just make a video about it. I don't know, I don't have really like many physical book friends, the ones I could touch. So there's not really that many to like disagree with when it comes to that kind of things, but my mother. Oh, this one is good because I am a crying reader. You're reading a book, you are about to start crying in public. How do you deal? I just cry. Like, who gives a shit? Like, if I'm reading a book, okay, audiobook is a little bit different because it looks like you're just listening to sad music and you're actually sad. But when you're reading a book, it's beautiful. Like, if I saw someone reading a book in public and I saw them crying, I would be like, wow, that this person is actually being really affected by this book. And I would be like, see that as like a magical moment, and having someone else see it doesn't bother me because it's not personal. It's just like a reflection of the book. So for me, like, it doesn't really matter. And I've cried in public over worse things, to be honest. Okay, 7. A sequel of a book you love just came out, but you've forgotten a lot from the prior novel. Do you reread the book, skip the sequel, try to find a synopsis on Goodreads, or cry in frustration? So all of the above. No, I definitely don't reread books, especially, so I'm gonna talk about this book again because I just finished it. This is Blood Witch, and it's the 3rd book in the Witchland series, and I read the first 2 almost 2 years ago, probably more actually, and I don't remember anything. Like, I've forgotten 80% of what happened, and I dove into this thinking like, it will catch me up, it will be fine, and the fact is, like, I probably liked it less than if I would have reread it, which I should have. I usually look up, phone! Stop! I usually look up like a synopsis, not on Goodreads though. I just try to like look at it online or look like at a character list or like a history list or a dictionary or something like that, and then I read on the back of each book. But this one I actually really struggled to like catch up on all the information I learned in the previous books, and it really brought my enjoyment down in the book. And while I was reading it, I was crying in frustration because I don't think it was a bad book. It was just authors who write synopsis of the previous books in their book. Wow, I love you so much. So much. Authors, please, please, please do that. That's great. Like, it will make people pick up your series because they won't be stressed about reading the next book. I'm serious. Do it. Okay, question 8. You do not want anyone borrowing your books. How would you politely tell people no when they ask? Politely what? Yeah, I'll just say no. Like, why would you be polite about it? I mean, it's your books. Like, just tell them to go to the library. I don't know. But actually, I've borrowed my book to a lot of people, and I think the worst part is like telling them you need to take care of it and like giving them an instruction manual on like, these are the steps you need to do. And it is so terrible when it comes back and you're just like, my book. Okay, question 9. Reading ADD. You've picked up and put down 5 books in the last month. How'd you get over your reading slump? This doesn't happen to me. I am a very dedicated reader, so like once I pick up a book, I will just like push my way through it. And sometimes like I like to be bored while reading. Like, you don't need to connect deeply with every book you read, and it's probably not gonna happen. So like, slump-wise, I'd probably pick up like a graphic novel or manga or something like that that's like quick to read, and I'll probably do that for a while if I don't feel like reading like physical books. But I would never pick up a book and then just put it down. Like, that's weird to me. I don't know, maybe I'm like weird in that way, but just like, once you start, you have to finish it. I mean, not you guys, but I have to finish it. There are so many new books coming out that you're dying to read. How many do you actually buy? Pretty much all of them. This is this is why we have a problem, and this is why I have to buy a new shelf this weekend. Because I keep buying books, even though I know I can't read them all straight away. Like, I'd love to be that kind of reader where I just go to the store, I see a book, I pick it up, I read it, and the times when that's happened to me, I feel like I've enjoyed the book more because I'm like excited about it, and then I read it, and then it all, like, the process from knowing about the book until like completing about the book and talking about the book is shorter, and it makes me like, it makes it a better reading experience, to be honest. And so I wish I was that kind of person, but I do buy loads of new books. I try not to buy so many young adult books, and especially young adult that's hyped on BookTube, because I realize like most of them aren't that good. So I do have a book buying problem though. Question 11. After you bought the new books you can't wait to get to, how long do they sit on your shelf before you get to them? I guess I kind of answered this question, but it all depends. I think if I buy, let's say I buy like 5 new books, I'll probably pick up 2 of them fairly soon. One of them is gonna be there for like 2 years, and the other 2 I'll probably read in like half a year. I think that's like a reasonable a reasonable percentage, but it can totally depends on what books there are, you know. I have books that I'm planning on reading at some point, but that's a very vague answer to this question. And those are all my answers. I hope you guys enjoyed. Tell me all your reader problems below. I feel like I have more reading problems than this. Like I think all of my problems are like centered around reading. Like I think if I just organize my reading life, my personal life would just work out. I don't know. It's just sometimes I wish I could read all the books, you know? I have another reading problem. It's like, especially here on YouTube, people constantly give me recommendations, especially in the sci-fi category, and the most recommended book like that has anyone has ever told me to read is Ender's Game. And it's just like, listen, I love it when you guys give me recommendations, but like, I'll get to it, okay? I have the book, I will read it. Please don't pressure me, okay? I have a lot of books to read. Okay? We could have talked about author controversy also on the topic of Ender's Game, separating the artist from the artwork or whatever. But that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you have a brilliant day. I hope life is treating you well. I think I already said that.